25 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Friday morning. It's time for News Bites. This is the portion of AM Ocala Live during which Robin and I read the news to you from the different news agencies out there. We shorten that news so that you can hear as much news in this time frame as possible and get on with your day. It's a good idea to sit with your radio and maybe drive or at your office, wherever it is. You'll catch up on a lot of things happening everywhere from local to international. The first story is, of course, out of Missouri. That story we've been hearing for a few days now, and I'm getting it from USA Today. The Ferguson, Missouri Police Department this morning will identify the officer who shot Michael Brown, whose death spurred violent protests and unrest in the St. Louis suburb over the past week. Ferguson, Missouri Police Chief Thomas Jackson said he would like to release the name by 9 a.m. this morning. Brown was unarmed when the officer killed him. Witnesses in the area say Brown had raised his hands to surrender when he was shot. Police have not confirmed that information. The announcement comes after Twitter suspended the account yesterday linked to a loose-knit hacktivist group that released the name of a police officer it said shot and killed Brown on Saturday night. However, police, Ferguson's mayor, and the stepmother of the man named all said the group was incorrect and that the person named is not a police officer. As of early this morning, no violent clashes were reported after hundreds of protesters gathered and marched near the flashpoint where riots and civil unrest have unfolded in recent days.
And President Barack Obama is expressing his concern about the violence in Missouri. Obama is seeking to calm unrest over the police killing of an unarmed black teenager in Missouri. Obama declared yesterday that there is no excuse for violence against police or for excessive force by officers against protesters. The president spoke after 4 nights of protests in Ferguson, Missouri over the death of Michael Brown, age 18. Police on Wednesday fired tear gas against protesters. They arrested 16 people, including 2 reporters. Police said that rocks and a Molotov cocktail were thrown at officers. President Barack Obama is quoted as saying, "There is never an excuse for violence against police or for those who would use this tragedy as a cover for vandalism or looting. There's also no excuse for police to use excessive force against peaceful protesters or to throw protesters in jail for lawfully exercising their First Amendment rights," reported by MSNBC.
And from CNN, the 2 Amish girls who were apparently abducted from a roadside farm stand in upstate New York have been found and are safe, according to authorities in a statement issued this morning. An Amber Alert was issued late Wednesday in Oswegatchie for Delilah Miller, who is 6 years old, and her sister Fanny, who is 12 years old. They had been selling vegetables near their family farm located about 50 miles southeast of the Canadian border. A witness told police the girls were tending to a customer who drove up in a white 4-door sedan and disappeared when the vehicle pulled away, according to the report. Rhonda Wells, senior dispatcher for St. Lawrence County Sheriff's Office, told CNN early this morning that the girls have been located and are safe. She declined to provide further details, saying a press release will be issued later today.
Giving Florida school children a chance to learn all about Florida black bears is a great way to teach them about wildlife while sharpening their skills in reading, math, science, and problem solving. For that reason, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has updated its Florida black bear curriculum. It's put it online for the first time at blackbearinfo.com. The revised Florida black bear curriculum, being promoted by wildlife officials, is free, easy for teachers to use, and meets the new Florida standards for educational curricula. The curriculum offers 10 lessons on topics such as the black bear necessities. It includes hands-on activities such as mapping and role-playing. There are also videos for students to watch, such as the FWC's Living with Florida Black Bears. With more encounters today between people and bears in Florida than in the recent past, it is increasingly important for children to learn about the state's bear population. The Florida Black Bear curriculum was designed for children in grades 3 through 8. It has been in use since 1999, when it was created as a joint project of the Florida Wildlife Commission and Defenders of Wildlife. Florida teachers who register on the Florida Black Bear curriculum website can gain access to additional information, particularly in regard to how the material fits the Florida standards. Anyone is welcome to go to blackbearinfo.com to take advantage of the educational material that is provided, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from CNN, Ukrainian border guards are in Russia and have started to examine the contents of a huge convoy of trucks that Moscow says is carrying relief goods for civilians in war-torn eastern Ukraine. The purpose of the procession of trucks, which abruptly changed course earlier this week, has been the subject of dispute between Russia and Ukraine. The Ukrainian government has expressed fears that the mission is a camouflaged effort to smuggle supplies to pro-Russian rebels and has vowed to keep the convoy out. Russia insists that it should be permitted to send aid to the conflict-battered region, many of whose residents are Russian speakers.
Average long-term U.S. mortgage rates declined this week, approaching their lows for the year. Mortgage company Freddie Mac said yesterday the nationwide average for a 30-year loan slipped to 4.12% from 4.14% last week. The average for a 15-year mortgage, a popular choice for some people who are refinancing, fell to 3.24% from 3.27% last week. Mortgage rates are below the levels of a year ago. They have fallen in recent weeks after climbing last summer when the Federal Reserve began talking about reducing the monthly bond purchases that it was making to keep long-term borrowing rates low, reported by Newsday.
And from CNS News, the global impact of climate change is the biggest challenge of all that we face right now. That is a quote from Secretary of State John Kerry. He made that statement to an audience in Hawaii on Wednesday, putting an issue he feels passionately about at the center of a speech entitled, quote, U.S. Vision for Asia-Pacific Engagement, unquote. He said to the audience, the science is screaming at us. Ask any kid in school. They understand what a greenhouse is, how it works, why we call it the greenhouse effect. They get it. If you accept the science, Kerry continued, if you accept that the science is causing climate to change, you have to heed what those same scientists are telling us about how you prevent the inevitable consequences and impacts, unquote.
The United States will soon deliver additional weaponry to help bolster the Lebanese military as it faces a growing threat from Islamic militants amid the fallout from the civil war in neighboring Syria. This is according to the U.S. ambassador. He said this yesterday. Ambassador David Hale said the deliveries come in response to a request from the Lebanese armed forces for emergency assistance after Islamic militants overran a Lebanese town near the Syrian border. They killed and kidnapped soldiers. Hale did not say when the munitions would arrive, nor did he provide a price tag for them. He did say that the new assistance is part of Washington's longstanding partnership with the Lebanese military. The United States has provided more than $1 billion in military assistance since 2006, including over $120 million in training and equipment since October, reported by The Guardian.
And from CNN, Robin Williams was sober but was struggling with depression, anxiety, and the early stages of Parkinson's disease when he died, according to a statement issued by his widow yesterday. The diagnosis of the progressive illness was an additional fear and burden in his life. A person familiar with Williams's family told CNN also yesterday. Williams was found dead in his Northern California home on Monday from what investigators suspect was a suicide by hanging. While fans and friends have looked for answers to why the 63-year-old comedy icon would take his own life, his wife, Susan Schneider, issued a written statement about Williams's health that he had kept a secret. And it was about the Parkinson's. We've got to take a little break, and we'll be right back with more News Bites. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, sunshine mixing with clouds. A couple of drenching thunderstorms around this afternoon. The high 86 to 90. There'll be a thunderstorm in the area this evening, then partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a couple of afternoon and evening thunderstorms around, high 88 to 92. For Sunday, partly sunny with a stray afternoon thunderstorm, high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
1370 WOCA.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. 12 minutes now before 9 o'clock. Let's return to News Bites. The next story is from the Tampa Bay Times. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush has slammed the ballot initiative legalizing medical marijuana, claiming it will tarnish the state's prestigious reputation as a tourist and retirement mecca. Florida leaders and citizens have worked for years to make the Sunshine State a world-class location to start or run a business, a family-friendly destination for tourism, and a desirable place to raise a family or retire, Bush said in a statement reported in the Tampa Bay Times. He went on to say, allowing large-scale marijuana operations to take root across Florida under the guise of using it for medicinal purposes runs counter to all of these efforts. I believe it is the right of states to decide this issue, and I strongly urge Floridians to vote against Amendment 2 this November.
7 rare microscopic interstellar dust particles that date to the beginnings of the solar system are among the samples collected by scientists who have been studying the payload from NASA's Stardust spacecraft since it returned to Earth in 2006. If confirmed, these particles will be the first samples of contemporary interstellar dust. A team of scientists have been combing through the spacecraft's aerogel and aluminum foil dust collectors since Stardust returned. Scientists say that they suspect the 7 particles probably came from outside our solar system, perhaps created in a supernova explosion millions of years ago and altered by exposure to the extreme space environment. The research report appears in today's issue of the journal Science. 12 other papers about the particles will appear next week in the journal Meteoritics and Planetary Science. Stardust was launched in 1999. It returned to Earth on January 15, 2006 at the Utah Test and Training Range that is located 80 miles west of Salt Lake City. The Stardust sample return canister was transported to a curatorial facility at Johnson Space Center, where the Stardust collectors remain preserved and protected for scientific study, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from CNN, actress Arlene Martell, who Star Trek fans know as Spock's bride-to-be, died in a Los Angeles hospital Tuesday of complications from a heart attack, according to a statement issued by her son. Martell was 78 years old. Martell's ethnic ambiguity earned her the nickname the Chameleon among Hollywood casting directors in the 1960s, son of Jod Kaftan told CNN. It gained her diverse roles, including a Russian spy on the Monkees, and I Dream of Jeannie, a French underground operative in Hogan's Heroes, a Native American woman in Gunsmoke, and a Vulcan on Star Trek. Trekkies still lined up at sci-fi conventions to meet Martell and pay for autographs because of her role as T. Pring, the Vulcan priestess, engaged to Spock in the first episode of the iconic show's second season. Leonard Nimoy, who was the original Spock, tweeted his tribute to her, saying, quote, "Goodbye to T. Pring, Arlene Martell, a lovely talent." Martell is also known for two former boyfriends. She was one of James Dean's girlfriends in New York before he became a star. She also dated actor Cary Grant for some time.
Passage Key is a popular hotspot for nudists located between Anna Maria Island and Egmont Key. For 50 years, the small island has been a federally protected habitat for nesting birds. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says in Florida that there are a number of rare species there, ranging from royal tunes to black skimmers to oyster catchers. A spokesman for the FWS says that in 2006, the island became completely submerged because of Hurricane Alberto. But in the past few months, the sandbar returned, along with birds and nudists. The island has been popular for nudists recently, with reports of more than 200 nudists on the small island. The Florida Wildlife Commission claims that this is disrupting rare birds and scaring them off. An FWC spokesperson says it is a federal crime to walk on the island, saying nudists are allowed to wade in the water offshore, but are prohibited by law from being on the island. Federal officials monitor Passage Key on the weekends, and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission helps with monitoring during the week. However, the island is remote. It is impossible to patrol the island 7 days a week. Federal officials urge tourists and nudists to stay off the island. Signs have been posted urging nudists to follow the law and stay off the beach, but officials say more needs to be done to stop the nudists from bothering these nesting birds, reported by WFLA.
Apparently the birds don't mind if you're wearing a bathing suit, but if you're naked, they get scared.
Yeah, that's it.
The next story is from the Associated Press. 3 men are charged with digging up the cremated remains of 2 relatives and moving them to another cemetery in the state of Maine. Authorities say 71-year-old Calvin Lewis of Leamington, 37-year-old Hiram resident Travis Lewis, and 42-year-old Kevin Lewis of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, are all charged with abuse of a corpse. Police say the men dug up the remains of Richard Lewis and the son, who shared his name, from a cemetery in Standish last fall, and then reburied them in the family plot in Leamington. The elder, Richard Lewis, was Calvin Lewis's brother and the father of the other 2 men. The remains were returned to their original resting place on August 2nd. Kevin Lewis told the Portland Press Herald that the men just thought they had the right to move family members.
There is evidence the numbers of dead and sickened by Ebola in West Africa may vastly underestimate the magnitude of the outbreak. This is according to the World Health Organization's release of the report today. The UN Health Agency said it was prepared for the crises to continue for months. With more than 1,060 deaths and 1,975 sickened, the Ebola outbreak is already the deadliest ever. Liberian officials faced a difficult choice today: deciding which handful of Ebola patients will receive an experimental drug that could prove life-saving, ineffective, or even harmful. ZMapp, the untested Ebola drug, arrived in the West African country late yesterday. This morning, no one had yet received the treatment, which officials said would go to 3 people, reported by ABC.
And from the Associated Press, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this morning that India had been shamed by rapes and attacks against women and called on parents in this deeply misogynistic country to treat their sons and daughters equally in his first speech marking the country's independence from colonial rule. The law will do its job and will do it strictly, but as a society, every parent also has a responsibility to teach their sons the difference between right and wrong, Modi said as he addressed the nation from the Red Fort, the sprawling 17th century fortress that was once home to India's medieval Mughal rulers. Today, when we hear news reports of rapes, our heads hang in shame, Modi said, addressing a growing anger against persistent violence against women.
Universal Orlando Resort and Warner Brothers announced this morning that they will host the second annual A Celebration of Harry Potter event, a special event for fans celebrating the global phenomenon that is Harry Potter. Beginning January 30th, 2015, fans will enjoy 3 days of experiences that will include question and answer sessions with Harry Potter film talent, a Harry Potter expo, and more. Special vacation packages, including annual pass holder packages, will include exclusive benefits, such as access to an exclusive evening in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Hogsmeade, and the all-new The Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley. All general admission park guests will have the opportunity to attend the Q&A sessions with Harry Potter film talent and other special guests, as well as experience a host of other interactive attractions and exhibits, so no one will be left out in the proverbial cold. But the celebration ticket holders will get some surprise bell and whistle bonuses as well as other perks that are a special part of the celebration. The event is also encompassing both parks, Hogsmeade Village and Diagon Alley. Packages are limited and will go on sale Thursday, August the 21st, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from USA Today, NBC's Meet the Press has a new moderator. His name is Chuck Todd. NBC News' President Deborah Thomas announced the chief White House correspondent appointment in an internal memo to staff yesterday, shortly after David Gregory posted on Twitter that he would be leaving the program and NBC. The switch in moderators is not surprising. Rumors of a change have swelled recently, coinciding with a decline in ratings for the Sunday political talk show, the longest-running program on network TV. Todd will take over the show on September 7th.
The white trucks of humanitarian aid rumbled through Russia in a convoy stretching for miles, moving slowly southwards on the M4 highway. Amid a landscape of fertile fields and lattice stopped at the roadside, their boots overflowing with watermelons for sale. While the trucks came to a halt well short of Ukraine's border, a different Russian convoy did make the crossing into Ukrainian territory late last night. The Guardian saw a column of 23 armored personnel carriers, supported by fuel trucks and other logistics vehicles with official Russian military plates, that traveled towards the border near the Russian town of Donetsk, about 200 kilometers away from Donetsk, Ukraine, reported by The Guardian.
And from CNN, British singer Cliff Richard has denied an underage sex allegation dating from the 1980s as completely false. South Yorkshire police searched Richard's home in Sunningdale, Berkshire, yesterday as part of an investigation into the alleged offense. A search warrant was granted after police received an allegation of a sexual nature dating back to the 1980s involving a boy who was under the age of 16 at the time. Thames Valley Police confirmed it had assisted South Yorkshire Police in the execution of the search warrant. Richard, who is 73 years old, issued a statement denying the allegation.
Governor Chris Christie, a Republican governor from the blue state of New Jersey, argued that he's more conservative than people from the South may think. Asked by reporters in Birmingham, Alabama, what voters may find surprising about him, Christie suggested there's a common misconception about his ideology. Folks believe when you're a Republican from New Jersey that somehow you're not going to be conservative. I think that's the biggest thing that folks in Alabama, as they get to know me better, will understand, reported by CNN.
And that's all the time we have for News Bites. Remember, we do this each weekday from Monday through Friday. Well, that was redundant, wasn't it? From 8:35 to 9 is what I should have said there. It's your best chance for catching up on a whole load of news in a short period of time and getting on with your life. Robin, how many stories today?
21.
21. Hang in there. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back with Jim George. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. Last night, a calmer one in a suburban St. Louis town after 4 days of clashes.
Residents in Ferguson took to the streets after unarmed 18-year-old Michael Brown was killed by a police officer. Pastor Amber